While reading a story, we need to be able to understand how someone feels without them saying, "I'm happy," or "I'm sad." The expression that helps us understand the feelings in a story aren't usually said directly. There are two sides that you have to think about when looking at the feelings of a story. Your feelings as the reader and the feelings of the author. The author's attitudes or feelings about the subject of the story is called tone. In other words, tone is the author's attitude towards a subject in a text. You can figure this out by looking at the author's choice of words and details, as well as the arrangement of these words. The attitude may be stated in so many words or implied. These choices are also known as syntax, or the way sentences are constructed, and diction, also known as word choice. Let's try an example to get a better idea of how this works. Gaining the attention of his classmates as well as his pretentious teacher, the brave student courageously questioned his professor's intelligence by challenging him about the difficult textbook. What is the tone of this sentence? The author is expressing an admiring or impressed tone. We can infer this through the author's word choice in regards to the student. We can tell that the author is on the student's side because the student is described as brave, while the teacher is pretentious. Let's change the words and determine how that changes the tone. Drawing the attention of his classmates as well as his well-respected teacher, the demanding student dared to challenge his professor's intelligence by interrogating him about the widely used textbook. What is the tone of this sentence? The author is expressing a critical or disapproving tone. We can infer this through the author's word choice in regards to the student. We can tell that the author is on the professor's side because the student is described as demanding, while the teacher is well respected. Now, the flip side of this is how the words make the reader feel. This is known as mood. Many people also call this atmosphere. Let's look at an example. She huddled in the corner, clutching her tattered blanket and shaking convulsively as she feverishly searched the room for the unknown dangers that awaited her. What is the mood? In other words, what are your feelings? By analyzing the writer's use of language and the atmosphere it's establishing, we can see that the mood is scary or frightening. Now let's see if you can identify both mood and tone in the same sentence. He cautiously glanced behind him for fear of his imagined pursuers, then hurriedly walked on, jumping at the slightest sound, even of a leaf crackling under his own foot. Let's start with tone. What words tell you about the tone of the story? Okay, so then what would you say the tone is? The tone is mocking or skeptical. What words help you know the mood of the story? How do these words make you feel? So then, what is the mood of this sentence? Would you agree that the mood is uncertain or nerve-wracking? Okay, so what does this really mean? Well, together, mood and tone help you understand what the author is trying to say about their subject and what you, as the reader, should learn from the story. While it is many ways the undercover element, understanding tone and mood will allow you to really understand what the author is trying to communicate.